Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm in the process of trying to isolate this annoying sound that my computer started making. And at first I thought it was maybe one of these fans that one of the blades was just maybe hitting an accumulation of some dust. But it seems to be the radiator. Now, I am not certain what this, so I've disconnected the radiator sort of by accident. I was trying to lift the fans off, but when I stop the fans, slow down the blades, it's not any of these. And I had a can of dust off that was pretty much at the end. I see another, I just saw another can, but I've been looking on Amazon for another option for like a compressor or something, but they have these new really high speed, essentially looks like a hairdryer without a heating element. So I might get one of those instead of having to purchase compressed air. But what is this, is what I want to know. I'm wondering if it comes from that. I was thinking that maybe air got caught, or somehow there's an air bubble in this radiator or something. But I don't know what this is. I thought this is the circulator. I thought this is what circulates the fluid in here. But it's definitely coming from the radiator. So maybe it seems to be pretty sealed. There is some dust on the radiator, but I think I might take this cover off. It doesn't make any sense that there's a little fan here, because it just covers this one spot. But maybe that's a heat sensor. But it's coming from the radiator. Well, there is a fan, but it's the wrong side. So I don't want to deform these. How does that? That's solid metal there. You know what? I think I'm going to plug it in briefly to see if it still makes a rattling sound. And I'm hoping it was just that screw. I don't know how this comes off. Unless it's epoxied on and I just need to add some force. I'm not going to do that. Although now that I'm looking, no, that's where, no, the screws are on the outside. Are those additional screws right there? I can't tell. I'm looking in the viewfinder here. I think that's additional screws. Let's see if, does that fit? Okay, that fits. Okay, I had a little bit of concern because they were torqued a little bit more than the other screws, but you're definitely going to need this size here. Let's see if I can steady my arm here. I think it says 72. Anyways, let's do the big reveal here. And I had another concern because it wasn't certain if it was going to come off because it seemed kind of stuck, but still don't know. Seems to be coming out. Seems sealed. Maybe it's bearings rattling. That'd be great. Oh, I did not know. I did not know that that was going to give access to the liquid. Did not know that. Oh, so it looks like that's replaceable. So I have to replace, oh no, it's all over the board. Well, that was a fail. Why didn't somebody tell me? I thought that was just the fan. That's the pump. Oh, that's just great. Probably wrecked my board and everything. Oh boy, that was a fail. Okay, so it's the next day, and luckily on Amazon they had next day delivery for this Arctic Liquid Freezer 240. Based on comments or reviews on this, it was easy to install. Was not thinking, really don't have experience with liquid cooling, and probably should have done some searches first. It's funny when you do a search, a lot of these forums, they assume you know the lingo, so they were talking about AIO coolers. I'm like, AIO, what's AIO? It's all-in-one cooling system. So I guess the other option is, you piecemeal one together with different parts, and I don't think, I'd rather have a sealed unit instead of putting a bunch of different connectors together. But evidently this is an AIO. I thought I knew this logo here, and then I was thinking it was MSI, but then I realized I had purchased a pre-built computer from Micro Center in Cambridge, in Boston here. It's close to me. And completely forgot that I had since upgraded the case too, because I didn't have room for this new graphics card since my original graphics card died. So I've had this motherboard for about 3 years, and this is the original radiator. And did a quick search, and what came up was, well, first off, it dawned on me that this is one of those Chinese translated, gives you a hint, companies where it's ibuypower, which really is odd sounding, but that's what that logo represents on. I thought this was the pump. So that was another mistake I made. I didn't realize that this was going to give you access to the cooling fluid. So if I did some searches on the internet first, instead of just going in immediately, I thought it was going to be an easy fix for that irritating sound. So I buy power. I did a search for the radiator, and lo and behold, people were complaining about a rattling sound coming from the radiator. So it has a history, so that's why I ended up quickly going to Amazon and buying this. Another thing is this seems to have been like a wick for the fluid. Now, I don't know. I meant to find out what the fluid is in this. I would think that they wouldn't put something that was very corrosive in a radiator in case if it leaked, which probably wouldn't help anyways, because liquid going onto a powered up motherboard is not a good thing anyways. But I was using the canned air, and just this stuff was just constantly, well, it doesn't work like that. Just threw out a can. This is empty. I meant to buy another can. But what I did do is I bought this. Based on a couple of videos I watched and some reviews. So hopefully this will help. blow out any residual. I was thinking of taking out the motherboard and just getting some, I think isopropyl alcohol will leave a residue too, but I thought maybe it would help evaporate whatever the liquid is. But I left this upside down, so liquid would eventually go out, and then I sprayed it while it was vertical too, so I could spray it down and out instead of going this way. This is the edge of the motherboard, so I think all the residual is out, but I'm going to give it a blast with that. And also maybe take a hair dryer to it. These are essentially a high-powered hair dryer with no heating element, I think. So they seem to be pretty powerful, so might be a good replacement for these, which just, you know, you get a couple of bursts and then whatever the chemical reaction is, or the physical reaction, they get cold and then they lose their pressure, and then you have to wait for the can to warm up again. And yeah, it looks like, doesn't seem to be any residual on there. So what I've learned, and what you can learn from my mistake, is just go ahead and remove the components. So you take the complete radiator out before you try to do anything. I try to do it thinking it was a simple fix. I thought maybe this was just a fan, and didn't realize that this opened up to the fluid. And yeah, I still have a bad feeling. There doesn't seem to be much of, doesn't seem to be anything in these, in the memory sticks here. We'll find out when I power it up, but I don't have a good feeling. Maybe I luck out. Like I said, I'm gonna try to blow out as any, doesn't seem to be anything left, but you never know. I replaced the I'm hoping this, I think, I'm pretty sure the review said there was some, what do they call that? The, like, Arctic silver heat sink grease or whatever, clean that off from the processor. And I think the bracket is the same dimensions as the existing holes there, so I'll keep this. Maybe I'll play with it to see. There might have been some evaporation in here, and maybe that was just the fans hitting some air pocket. Or there is, from what I read online, I did not know this again. Another thing I learned is that with the radiators, you should flush them out and clean them out every 6 to 12 months. So this has been running for 3 years. So it could be some contaminant has accumulated and needs to be flushed out. And this can be used for maybe another PC. But let me get to work here, see if I can get this back together again. I'm going through withdrawals, not playing World of Tanks. Yeah, you probably can't see it, but it doesn't lock. You have to keep your finger pressed on this. I don't think it locks. I mean, it would be nice to have that feature, I think, but yeah, this is definitely better than the canned air, like I said, which has its limitations. I just have to maybe give it time. Just keep on blowing this out until I'm satisfied that there's nothing residual liquid underneath there. So okay, so I've taken the fans off the top. I'm going to put the radiator on the top and try to orient this. I guess there's a science to this about the flow of the coolant and bubbles being created, but I was a little confused because I had this back plate and it looked like it was pressed in as part of the motherboard, and I'm trying to sort of multitask here because I was watching Svengoolie. It's Saturday night, but I gave this a closer look. I thought these screws would have to come out. I'm like, that can't be the case because that's what holds the bracket that holds the processor. So this, I think, maybe I'm wrong. No, it comes off. It's not as, it's a plastic and it is pliable a little bit. It has bend to it. So the website shows two different back plates and I only have this one. So I have to go watch the video again because there's a little bit of the sides, they're not the same. If you go this way, the outsides is raised a little bit. And if you go this way, the inside is raised a little bit. I don't think the camera can pick that up. So it either goes like that or like that. Yeah, so I have to figure out the hardware on this and go from there. They got one pack that says AMD, so don't use that at all. And then I think I used supposed to use the shorter standoff in this pack here, and it has these little razors, or not risers, little plastic washers you're supposed to put on here also, I think, to maybe raise this plate up just a little bit more. Make sure it's not going to touch any of these contacts here. So yeah, I have to review some more videos, get this straight. Okay, so first I'm going to start with adding these brackets to the cold plate. These are for the Intel and these here for the AMD. So I can put those aside. And it looks like the two screws are in this packet. If I can open it. Without it going all over the place. So there's one and there's two. The illustration was hard to gauge, and then when I looked at another angle, it looks like that part is facing down. So this gets threaded into here. Boy, that's that doesn't seem right. It's kind of cross-threaded. Feels like. Oh great, that one goes right in. I hope there's nothing wrong with that one.
I don't want to force it. Oh, that doesn't seem... Can't get it from the other side. I think there's definitely something wrong with that. Okay, so I got those two brackets on. I know they show this one going over here in the illustration, animated illustration on the website. So there must be clearance. Next, so you take this looks like it's been punched twice here. So the outside one is these inserts. And I haven't determined, I would want, there's definitely a difference between that, where the outside is raised a little bit, or flip it over, and the inside is, so if you go like this will be lower, closer to any contacts on the board, and if you go like this middle part will be up a little bit. I don't know if that is like a millimeter or something, but these are supposed to go to the outside. Well, they sort of fit the whole thing there. Oh, okay. You can see that there's a little bit of a space there, so they go to the outside. But I'm going to have to go check to see if I can see how this is oriented, whether this goes to the faces the motherboard, or whether you flip it over and that faces the motherboard. Well, the example online uses the different back plates, so I don't know if it's going to make too much of a difference. Doesn't look like it's going to contact anything, so you put this through here, and then you take one of the O-rings, put that on. And do that for all four corners. Make sure it's pressed in there. So that's what you should have. Next, they have these sticky washers. These look to be the same, and they go on the motherboard. Okay, next we just take these four sticky washers and press them on these four holes on the motherboard, hopefully centering them, which I can't see now. press them on. Well, unless I read it wrong, the website is wrong because I just had to move these inward because they were too spread apart. So for the Intel, they have to be in the notch going closer that way. If that makes any sense. And then that fits. Okay, on the top side of the motherboard, same thing. There are these sticky washers. Put them on this side of the board. Hopefully line them up. Probably could use the standoff to line it up. Supposed to be using the 13 millimeter, which is the taller of the two supplied. So that goes there to all four corners. Of course, ideally do this with the motherboard not installed. Oh, where did it go? Well, that didn't work out. Almost lost that. Now, there is some situation with the cold plate fan interfering with some motherboards. They had a list on the website. This is not supposed to be one of them. So that goes on. Now I was contemplating using some duct tape, but I think I can do this. So I did snug these up a little bit. It's just very minimal pressure. Don't want them to vibrate loose. I have to clean up the paste off of the processor here. I was just looking at a video comparing different methods of spread, and the differences were minimal. The largest difference was maybe 1 or 2 degrees, and that was with a very small dot. But whether they did an X, a line, a pea-sized, which this website is recommending, or spreading it with a card, so a nice even spread, it was very minimal difference in temperature, like 0.5 degrees. So I think I might, this had good coverage here, but you're going to get different coverage with a cold plate than with maybe a fan heatsink. Alright, so I just used a paper towel to clean off the thermal paste there. They say you're supposed to use a lint-free cloth. So it did come with this thermal paste. It's got an old appointment card that seems to be stiff enough to spread out this thermal paste. Probably should have just put it on one side. Let's see what I can do here. Whoop. Got it on the bracket there. It's one of those things where you just leave well enough alone, you make it worse. Let's see if I can clean this off a little bit. All right, so orientation. Let's see. Let's show it like this. And I have to bring these around up. Watch this radiator not fit where I want it to go. So, cables out of the way. No cables in the way. Underneath, oh, make sure to remove this protective plastic here. Maybe I should have spread it on the cold plate. Wow, that's a large surface area. So this is supposed to fit. Make sure I have clearance on those cables. So this should fit. Uh-oh. Is it those? No? Oh, now what? Is this not going to fit? That goes there. Those go on there. But they don't fit there. Do I have these on? Oh, it's always something. How do these fit? They barely fit. Those are not working out. What is going on here? That's a fail. Okay, that had me worried. I loosened these up a little bit and then try to spread them out as if there was any other room, and then I was getting worried even after that, but then I just gave it a little bit more force, and there it is, it's on. Ooh, that had me concerned. So now we take these thumb screws. They do not show any metal washers being used. Do these fit on here? They do. There's 4 of them. And you put these thumb nuts on here. I don't think you need those. But I have them. And they weren't in the package, they were separate. So, I guess just finger tight. I don't know if I want to use those washers. Seems to be, oh, so I gotta put some pressure on to access the thread, beginning threads here. So, okay. Hands in the way, but so I don't know if you need these washers or not. Okay, so they do have a Phillips head on this, so I just, you know, tighten these so they were snug. I think you're supposed to do it like you do lug nuts on a car. Let's do the opposites, but... Ooh, okay, so now we just need to get the radiator on. And the way this is initially set up, you can change the airflow, but the default on this is outward airflow, so it's going to go up, out. So I might want to change that later on, I don't know. Because I have this magnetic screen that sits on the top. But I think the airflow comes in through the front. So push and then pull. I'm not certain what the back one, I got a back fan here, and I have a fan on the power supply that comes, I think that pushes up this way. Well, I still do not know whether this is going to work or not because of the liquid I spilled. So this goes like this. Wow, kind of a, I guess it's gonna fit. So that's the next step. And so I have the shorter standoffs left over. And these are all this is all the hardware for the radiator mounted to the top. Okay, so I have it all together. Forgot I needed to put in the memory. I was concerned it wasn't going to fit, but this is sort of off center because the plastic here on the motherboard, I had to do that with the fans that were there anyways. So there's a radiator on top instead of on the side, so I've got 3 fans pulling air in the front. This is going to push air out the top. I think this pushes air out the back. Yeah, hopefully I'll be very disappointed and upset if this does not work. I don't know where this goes. I can't believe I can't figure out where I don't have an extra thumb screw. I don't know where that goes. So one thing I like is these panels here. They just come down and the pins, it's a little bit of a pain to line up the hinge when you put the glass doors on, but it's not that difficult. So yeah, I hesitate to turn this on if something crackle or burn up. But learned a lot about, that would be funny if this leaked. So yeah, gotta plug it in. Okay, so it seems to be working. I did have a CPU fan error on boot up. I don't know if I have to go into BIOS and reset that. It was like super quiet, and I'm not really on top of the information as far as monitoring temperatures and controlling fans. But I just downloaded MSI, let's see, Center, I think it's called. It used to be called Dragon, and I forgot I had that installed, so I had to uninstall the Dragon and just downloaded the MSI Center software, figuring it out. And I had the CPU and fan, the default is off for some reason, or quiet. So it was a lot quieter than it is right now. But here you can see it's up and running. And this temperature was at 30 degrees, 34 degrees C or whatever, and I was trying to figure out, seemed like it was hot, but the fan speed was low, CPU speed, so the CPU core speed has dropped. And I'm looking at this software. Let's see here, they have features. I can't figure out where I was, but they have like a gaming or extreme mode. Is just a lot here. And I can't figure out how to, it's the settings and history. Hardware monitoring. User scenarios. No, that wasn't it. Oh, and I closed it. Well, anyways, it's working. I'm up and running, and it seems quieter than it was. Put the glass doors back on, took them off, and I still have to get into BIOS to see if I can reset that error message for the fan. So anyways, that was my journey into what I thought was going to be, well, just investigating the sound from the original liquid cooler that I had. That was ibuypower, and found out that it does have a history, and you're supposed to clean these every 6 to 12 months. Hopefully I get 3 years out of this one. This is also what they call an all-in-one AIO cooler. So yeah, that was a journey. Don't want to do it again for a while. Up and running. Maybe I'm gonna go play some World of Tanks now. So thanks for watching. This isn't like a quick 5-minute how-to. This is real life. You know, someone who doesn't get into the computer until something goes wrong and probably makes a mistake, or also approaches it the way a lot of people do. Trials and tribulations, learning about liquid coolers. So hope you found this video interesting. Feel free to comment, like or dislike, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.